like riding a little rocket. Ah, this thing is fun, I'll tell you. This is a pretty this thing's pretty crazy. This motor is something else. It's special. And here we are, the Harley Davidson Sportster S. Man, she's a looker. I'll say that. This is a good looking bike. It might be polarizing, but overall I think it's a very sharp looking bike. There ain't nothing out there that really looks like this that I can think of on the road. It is low, it's sleek. It almost just looks like a motor on wheels, and just a little bit of a little bit extra to sit on. Got this big ol' 1250 Revolution Max motor. Got them big fat tires. This one's got that Two Brothers exhaust. You know, I got onto my wife for getting this bike, but I'm kind of glad she got it, actually. It looks really good, and it rides actually really good too, which you'll see here in a sec. Belt drive, so lower maintenance. I dig it. Not as pretty on this side, but it's not horrible. To me, this bike kind of has a futuristic look to it. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like Harley Davidson in a apocalyptic future type looking thing, or future, or Blade Runner type future looking bike is what it looks like to me. But anyways, let's throw a leg over this bad boy. Very low seat height. Obviously it's a cruiser, muscle cruiser. Pretty sweet looking display here. I think it actually is white standard. My wife's got it set to the dark setting. She likes the black. You got all kinds of buttons. I've not fooled with a lot of this. It's got cruise control, which I love. It does have a heated grips thing here. I don't know if it actually works or not. Got modes. Sport, rain, road. There is a custom you can enable. Actually, it's got some kind of voice control thing, traction control setting. You know, actually these buttons ain't as bad or as complicated as they look, though. They just are for navigating your menus and junk, which I don't really care too much about that stuff. I'm more interested in the way the bike rides. All the technology is just complimentary. But a bike like this absolutely needs traction control and stuff like that, though, because this bike is a beast. Woo. What a sound. We bought this bike with that Two Brothers exhaust on there, and man, it is, that sound is menacing. I've not even taken it even close to redline, and this, I mean, this is a fast bike, and it is torquey. I don't know if Sportster was the appropriate name for this bike, because it doesn't look like a Sportster, the old Sportsters at least, necessarily. What they should have called it, but they should have gave it some other name. I will say, this motor, I've rode several bikes. I've probably rode 40 some bikes this year so far, and this bike I think has probably the most impressive motor or power delivery, torque and power delivery out of all the bikes I've rode this year. It's crazy because this motor, it doesn't sound awesome with the stock exhaust, but with this Two Brothers exhaust, it sounds amazing. But even with the stock exhaust, I could tell the motor was special when I rode it on a demo ride. it doesn't have the old school Harley character, but it has something completely different. It's new, it's different. So if you're looking for old school Harley, you know, this does not have that same feeling. The motor's something special. It's different, and the feel of this bike, I like the clutch feel. It is so light. It's one finger, two finger light all day, no problem. The brake is light. Both are adjustable with a little dial. Only thing for stop and go traffic, the exhaust can get warm on the side of your leg. I don't think it's awful, but I've not been sitting for long periods of time in traffic. I'm actually surprised by the seat comfort. This seat looked really thin. It's a little firm, but not bad, but it's not uncomfortable. I could probably ride this bike, and I'm a bigger dude, and I could ride for probably about an hour or so and not have much complaints. And then there's, you know, the interesting thing with this bike is that huge front tire, but it actually has kind of this peak on the top of it, which actually, I'm not going to say it's easy to lean in, but it's not awful. I like that even though it takes more effort, I have good feedback. I can feel it through the bars pretty good, what's going on with that front tire. It doesn't feel numb to me like on some bikes I've rode. The suspension is stiff, it's solid, not a lot of travel, front or back, which, you know, that helps with the bike having really good looks. But it makes for a stiff ride. It's not punishing though. At least on smooth roads it's perfectly fine. And, you know, even riding over small cracks and stuff, I haven't had no problems with it. It's got a slipper clutch or something, because even without rev matching, it is so smooth on downshifts. Clutch is so light, so smooth, and it's crazy because this is a cable clutch, and man, it almost makes me think it's a hydraulic clutch because of how smooth it is. So that's, you know, good job Harley with that. I will say the brake, yeah, actually, you know, the brake is, I mean, for being a single disc, that brake is actually pretty good. Better. I'd say the braking is moderate to good on this bike. Not great, but moderate to good. It would be nice if they did do dual discs up front, because this bike is extremely fast. It gets up to speed so quick. Don't take hardly anything. I mean, just rolling on the throttle. This bike has power and torque in every gear. I think the red line's looks like about 9,000 RPM on here. It's got good torque for just cruising. It's not the same potato type motor that you get in old school Harleys. It's a totally different feeling, but man, I think it feels amazing actually. This is a good motor. This motor needs to be in more bikes. I mean, brand new, the price of this bike though, 17 grand, 18 grand, something like that. I think it's 18 grand actually now. It was, when it first came out, I think 15 or 16, but 18, that's too much. I think this bike should easily be under 15 grand. I imagine that's probably going to hurt the sales on this bike. It has a small fuel tank. I don't know what the exact size. For some reason I'm thinking 3.2 or 3.4. I don't know what it is. It's about 40, maybe low 40s MPG. You'd probably want to stop after, you know, 100, 120 miles anyways. You're going to want to stop anyways to give your butt a rest on this bike. Not to me, somebody my size, you know, a little heavier, 6'1". The position is fine. This has the forward controls on it, but they're not really far forward. The one I test rode had mid controls. I definitely preferred those, but these forwards are fine. You know, I've not, no problem position wise. You're more on top of the bike than down in it. It's not the position that's not long distance. It'd be more the seat, I would think, even though the seat is not bad. Not bad initially, and not bad for, you know, like an hour, maybe a little more if you're a really light person, I guess. Small person. Might be. I was pleasantly taken back and surprised by how much I liked this bike when I test rode it the first time. And then we found a really good deal that actually popped up right near us, and so my wife ended up getting this. It was kind of you know, she test rode a bunch of bikes with me, and this is the bike that just kept coming back to her mind that she wanted. Like, this is the bike that stood out to her that she wanted, you know. She just liked how smooth the clutch and brake and everything on this bike was. And I'll say it's much more refined than your old school Harley. Back brake is a little weak. I have to press on it pretty hard. It works, but I wouldn't say it's very strong. It takes a lot of it seems like there's some dead spot there where it don't do much on the rear brake on the Sportster S. When cornering this bike, it doesn't want to fall in. It takes effort. You got to kind of heave it in there a little bit. It wants to sit up in the corner, so you got to keep it pushed in. I don't have a lot of complaints about this bike. I really don't. When you shift up, you have to kind of pull way up and back on it a little bit. It's a kind of a medium long throw on the shifter, and the upshifts, there's not a good positive click or feeling when going into gear. I feel like it's just really smooth, so maybe a little too refined on that part. Oh, it'd be nice if this bike had a quick shifter. My goodness, that would be a ton of fun. So no quick shifter. Very stable, you know. Once you get up to highway speeds, this bike, obviously it's got enough power and it's running low enough RPM. It's really plenty of torque. Got plenty of passing gear in sixth. See, no problem. You ain't got to shift down to get around people or nothing. Yeah, okay, the mirror, that's a complaint. This mirror is wobbling on me or folding in. I think the mirrors are in a good position. I can actually, even though they're small, they're out to the side off the bars enough that I can actually see really good out of them when they're not folding in. The seat, this bike is so quick, it does not hold me in place very good. I start sliding backwards. So a lot of that kind of keeps me from really getting on the throttle on this bike a lot, or as hard as I can, because I feel like I'm really hanging on. So to me, this bike shows what Harley's capable of, that they can manufacture and produce some innovative technology. This bike comes with a lot of good stuff from the factory standard, and it's got performance, you know, right out of the gate. That's super impressive. Out of the gates, this motor is wicked fast. It's very versatile. It's a good cruiser, but it's also, like I said, it's quick. Very, very, it's not just quick, it's downright fast. Just can't get enough of it. It's so good. That's all I got. That's my review of my wife's new bike, my impressions of it, what I think. You know, what was she thinking? Maybe she was thinking right. It's a good bike. And I approve. I approve, as long as she keeps the front wheel on the ground. Anyways, that's all I got. Peace.